coffee in the cup holder.
Hi, I'm Stephania Shoemaker, your host for the Mental Love podcast. And to kick off Mental Health Awareness Month, we are talking with Justin K.Robinson, the creative mastermind behind Mental Love, the newest feature film coming from New Culture Films. Thank you, Justin, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Hi, Justin. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Where do I start? As a little kid, I grew up in a city called Chesapeake, Virginia, and I moved to a major city called Atlanta, Georgia. And before I went to Atlanta, Georgia, I was engulfed into like sports. So I played sports growing up. I was a musician. And so when I moved to Atlanta, I got into production and toured a little bit, did some productions here and there, very popular productions. But it afforded me the opportunity to go to California, where I attended school at Los Angeles Film School. And I also attended college in Atlanta as well at SAE, Institute of Technology. But I graduated from Los Angeles Film School in film production. And that's why I'm a filmmaker now. I'm an entrepreneur, business owner, and a husband to my wife, Crystal, for the past 3 years. And I'm a business owner, entrepreneur of New Culture Films and Corporation and Studios. And I have written a film called Mental Love. And so I am the director, producer, and writer of Mental Love, the feature film, coming soon.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that with us.
You're welcome.
Tell us, what does mental health mean to you, and how has your perspective on it changed over time?
Mental love or mental health?
Mental health.
You said mental health? Okay. Gotcha. I just want to make sure it was good. I know we're on the mental love side.
So, mental health, mental love, but definitely, what does mental health mean to you, and how has your perspective on it changed over time?
Well, mental health is means to me is a comprehensive state of mind, emotional, psychological, social well-being that enables individuals like yourself, myself, to cope with like stress, work, productivity, and it also helps us maintain healthy relationships. And that's what mental health means to me, is to being able to cope and manage healthy relationships.
Great. What habits, routines, or tools do you use to manage your mental health when things get just too much?
Well, for me, I use like sensory shifts. And so what that means is like I use things like listening to calming music. And so I have like a record player, Bluetooth, not old school. It has a Bluetooth capability on it, but I have a record collection. And so I like to listen to those records like therapeutic. It's something vintage, but it's something also therapeutic that I love to enjoy. And, it's a great way to just decompress. Also, brain dumping, journalism, writing in a journal, writing out your thoughts, your worries, certain tasks, just trying to untangle like those mental clutters. And so those digital detoxing moments as well, like putting down your cell phones, cutting off the TV, putting the laptop away, like just digital breaks. So scheduling digital breaks is some of my habit of routines as well.
Yeah, taking it back to the 1990s, y'all.
Correct. Pages.
Pages. What is the biggest challenge you've overcome in your journey?
Embracing change. I think we all struggle with change, but viewing the fear of like failure, as I learn learning through opportunities, and rather than like seeing it as a setback, I have embraced change, right? And so moving to multiple cities, I had to embrace change. Like going to school, back to school, for film and stuff, I had to embrace change. Starting my own company, to hire other people, I had to embrace change. Shooting a film, it's certain things I have to embrace change, even dealing with my crew and cast. I have to adapt to their well-being, right, and how they do things. And so just embracing change on my journey to overcome certain things were some of my biggest challenges.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give your younger self when you first started struggling?
Well, I would tell my younger self, if you want to be a star, use the STAR method. And the STAR method is, situations, task, action, and results, right? You're going to deal with situations. You're going to have tasks in life. You have to watch your actions, but you also want to gain great results, right? And so using the STAR method to be a star. And also, I would advise my younger self to embrace self-compassion, trust the process, um, and know that failures are temporary growth opportunities.
Oh, yeah. I learned something new. Thank you for sharing that.
For sure.
You've named some of your habits, routines, and the tools you use to manage your mental health, but tell us, what are your favorite mental health resources?
My favorite resources, and you can go to the Google Store or the App Store or Apple Store, download the meditation app, Headspace and Calm. Those are two of my favorite meditation apps. You also can look up the platforms for therapy. I would say like Talkspace and BetterHelp. And also my companion, my wife, it's therapeutic as well. We have those conversations where we, talk through things that we're dealing with, certain things that we might not see eye to eye on, we talk it out. And that's very therapeutic as well, to get an understanding about life and how to deal with certain situations. Because you never know what anybody's dealing with. So if you're watching this and you're having suicidal thoughts, we want you both to just call the crisis support line 988. You can call, text 988 to Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, and I guarantee you that resource there'll be somebody there to help you as well.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a great resource, and it's still fairly new as I just learned about it. Thank you for sharing that with us too. Sure. You're full of amazing tools and tricks. What misconceptions about depression and/or anxiety do you often see?
Some misconception about depression and anxiety, I would say, like worrying too much. Everyone exercises like stress, anxiety, depression. It can also interfere with like our daily functions. So just not worrying too much. You're going to stress sometimes about certain things, but just try to avoid those triggers, right? Avoid those things that's going to trigger you to have anxiety and depression. Try to avoid those things and seek help. Don't be afraid to seek help. Getting help is a sign of strength, not weakness. And so I would say seeking help, is a great way. And probably one of the misconceptions in this whole world, like some people don't like to ask for help, and that's a misconception. You always want help. And so that's some things I usually often use. I try to avoid triggers and I always seek help.
Well, thank you so much for being vulnerable and sharing all of your wisdom with us.
Indeed.
I'm sure this is only the tip of the iceberg, but there is more coming from New Culture Films, including the feature film Mental Love, and there'll be more from the podcast, Mental Love, the podcast. So stay tuned. Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.
Awesome. Thank you. Make sure you subscribe.
Thank you.
Mental Love
Thank
podcast.
you for joining with us. Till next time.
coffee in the cup holder, your old hoodie on